and previously I was an account manager for Southeast and Somerset. So a few of you might know me from that role. I also have on the call with me Ashley McKenzie, who is your Regional Customer Success Manager. A lot of you are also familiar with her because she has covered a good number of your schools now for quite some time. I will walk through, a quick overview of Blackboard Ultra. I'm not going to get in the weeds much on all of the capabilities of that platform since we're specifically wanting to look at the steps for Cengage integration. I will show you how to kind of get rolling if you're copying forward from a semester and copying your course in Ultra. I want to make sure that you know where to create your test bank, and then also I'll show you our KCTCS course page that we have for you and your students, and hopefully save a little time for questions at the end. Blackboard, this Collaborate is somewhat new to me. I feel like I don't have complete control of the chat and all that. So I trust our moderators will kind of keep me in check on that point. But I'm going to start in essentially what is a blank shell here. You're looking at, I've just created a completely blank course with the Ultra view. And if you aren't starting with a blank course and you wanted to copy forward from a previous course, what's interesting about Ultra and different than regular Blackboard Learn is you will start in your new shell to copy your course forward. So you would go to copy content, and this little screen will pop out, and you can actually select from one of your previous courses. So if you're teaching psychology again or whatever that might be, you'd probably go to one of your old ones and copy forward and then copy selected content. So from there, all of these steps are very similar or the same. If you are copying content forward, all of your Mindtap or WebAssign links or whatever you're using would already live in this space. So let's say I'm starting from scratch and I'm going to add content. You can do that from one of two places. You can go to this little plus button. I'm just going to select content, mark it. And you would probably see a variety of different content providers here. I am in our demo server that we use for Cengage, so I am just going to select Cengage. If you're doing this for the very first time, it will ask you to log in using your Cengage credentials. You can reset your password or ask your account executive for your credentials if you're unsure what those are. It's just what you would normally log into Cengage.com with. New this year, we've actually launched something called Cengage Infuse. And if we have time at the end of the call, I can show you what that is, but it's an entirely embedded course kit. It doesn't create for you any kind of external links or any kind of external course. It's an entire kit that lives within Blackboard Ultra. It's kind of nice. So for the purposes of showing integration, we'll just go to homework at the very top since that's the most common. You do want to make sure when you're building this course, if you have your course in all access, that the course you've selected says inclusive access. So if I search for a title and it says student purchase required, that might be correct if I'm not using inclusive access or KCTCS all access and students paying their tuition, but just make sure that when you're searching that you find that. So I'm going to pick an author I know does have inclusive access, and if you don't see your deployment here, make sure you ask your account executive. I'll just click link to course. The screen is going to be the exact same process you all are probably familiar with from your Blackboard Learn. You'll create a new course or copy from an existing if you already have one. I'm going to create a brand new one. It will automatically fill in the name for you that pulls from your course, which is really nice, especially if you're working in multiple sections. I'm going to use this and also maybe just call it Spring 22. give it some dates. So I'll do today through May. The time zone should default to wherever you are working from. If some of you might be in Central versus Eastern, you just want to make sure that it's working from wherever you are. So the next screen is your gradebook settings. You have the opportunity to either add an activity score, which means you're going to have the opportunity once you integrate to add individual activity columns to your Blackboard Ultra gradebook. The other option is one overall cumulative score. And this is really nice if you're using maybe 5, 6 or more activities from each of your chapters. So for example, our world languages Mindtap does have 20 or more activities per unit, and it does seem to clutter a gradebook. I feel like the most common choice here does seem to be activity score, because typically you're using 2 to 3 Mindtap activities per chapter, and students do like all of their scores to be flowing over into their Blackboard so that they can sort of see where they stand in the course. I'm going to click finalize. I typically leave this just as is because I've clicked that plus button exactly where I want it to land. Click submit. And so now you'll see I'm back in my content section. It did automatically land me there, and I have this link. So something to keep in mind, I probably should have mentioned it back when I was naming the course. Unlike Blackboard Learn, Blackboard Ultra doesn't allow me to rename this link. So whatever I've named it there, so you probably do want to make it really obvious to students, Mindtap link for Psych 101, Spring 22, something that your students will know, like this is my entry point to their homework platform. From here, obviously this is going to work just the same as it did in Ultra. It's going to take me into my Mindtap course. And from here, I can make any edits to the course like I would, or maybe I've copied it forward. So it carried with it all of those settings from my previous semester. I do want to show you, the next step here. So students have this main entry point. But if I'm interested in adding those, like we usually call them deep links, that also sets up automatic grade return. I'll just click back on, the Cengage deployment. Here it's going to show me that I have linked to this. If I've linked to additional items, those would all show up here as well. I'll click select content. While I'm on the screen, I just want to point out this ebook only option. At this point, if you are in inclusive access or all access and students are paying in their tuition, we don't have a way to set that as open for your students. So even if you're only using the ebook, we would still ask that you continue to link to the Mindtap so that we can ensure that content is set to open for your students. So we'll click select content here, and I'm just going to add a couple of links. You do want to make sure that you're dialing in. A brand new feature that we added just recently is this expand all button. And I really like it because it makes sure that, you're able to, if I collapse all or expand all, I can sort of see what's available within each of these areas. You'll see anything that's already been deemed as for a grade. And I love the mastery trainings that we have for our psychology Mindtaps. You can see here, if I click to add it to the course, it is going to automatically select to add to gradebook. I can uncheck that if I don't want grades to come over. It's very common that you would add probably a link to the reading and then a link to the graded items. So I'm going to go ahead and do that just for a couple of these sections. And then click continue. Again, click submit. And then, all of the links live here for students, and you would manage them much in the same way that you would, your other assessments and assignments that live here. And now that I don't have any students, so it's not going to show the gradebook in the same way that You know, yours will, because your gradebook will look a little different. I'll have students listed here, but I am able to see that I added these gradable items. Kind of while I'm thinking about student management, just remember, you know, your student roster will be here in Blackboard, but then your students won't show up in your Mindtap or WebAssign, whatever homework platform you're using, until they enroll there. So a student will need to click on one of these links so they show up in your Mindtap gradebook as well. You know, I mentioned earlier your manage question banks tab here in Ultra lives down here. So I would click that, and then I would click the add button. And then here, you know, wherever I had saved my zip file for Blackboard, I would just upload into this space. So that's really Ultra, like the very quick and easy version of, you know, integration. Until I get questions in this chat, I just want to show you, you know, what Infuse would look like. So I would do the same process to add content. And this time click Infuse. Something about this product specifically, so spring of 23, we are getting open access availability to Infuse. If you were to select it for your fall 22 course, we would have to provide codes for students. I'll just type in Infuse. Oops. So I've got this Cengage Infuse, one-term instant access. Click link to course. See, it looks very similar to the way that I built the Mindtap course. Let's pick a date this time. Continue. And this time, since, like I had mentioned before, it doesn't create its own separate platform, you'll see what it did is that it immediately dropped me into this screen where I can select the chapter content. I am going to select all of this so that, you know, as an instructor, I would be able to check it out. And then, again, the next screen, I'm able to choose the number of attempts for the assignable settings. You know, so concept check, I might give students maybe even 10 attempts on something like this, whereas an end of chapter quiz, I may decide that they only get 1 or 2 attempts. I would click save. What I really like about Infuse is it's going to give, you know, students the same exact, you know, feeling as they would have if they were, you know, inside Blackboard. The only time they leave Blackboard is to open the readings. But what's neat about this is, so for example, oh, I think this demo server is going to open in a new window. Your students will never leave their Blackboard window. So this does open up inside of Blackboard Ultra. They would take the quiz. And what's really nice as an instructor is I'm going to manage this all from right here. I don't have to learn settings in a separate, you know, platform for my gradebook or for my assignments. If I don't like this question, I'll just delete it. I would remove this question. Also, a really nice feature is that I can actually create a question down here at the bottom. So I just wanted to make sure everyone kind of saw what Infuse was, because it's our brand new platform that just launched and it's available. I'll go back to this one and see if there were any questions that came in.
Another thing to note, when Natalie was showing the Infuse demo, you also saw you had the ability to edit any of those questions. So I know that we get questions a lot, like, can I edit the questions within Mindtap or within Apply or a test bank? With Cengage Infuse, you can edit directly from that question. So you could change the answers, you could change the way the question's written, and it's right there. Like Natalie said, you don't actually go out to another platform. So it's very easy to use. It's the same functionality that you would have in Blackboard/Blackboard Ultra, and everything's right there, and you're not learning a separate platform. So we did want to show you that new product, but we're back in Ultra now. So does anyone have any questions about the Cengage integration, about Cengage Infuse, about anything that has to deal with Cengage or Blackboard Ultra? We're happy to answer. Okay, April Moore, do you recommend not, oh, hold on, let me see, these questions are coming up. Let's see. Do you recommend not setting up the course at Cengage Mindtap ahead of time, so instead just copy a previous Mindtap course as you are adding a text? So if your course is going to be the exact same as it was in a previous semester, you can just copy the course from, you know, your spring to fall shell, and then you can just click on one of the Cengage links, and then you would have those options that Natalie had there with create a new course, copy an existing course, link to an existing course, and you could just click to copy an existing course, and that would copy the Mindtap portion. You've already copied the Blackboard portion with all the links in it, and then you're just going to copy the Mindtap portion by clicking on one of those links and selecting a previous course to copy. That is typically the way most instructors do it, just because it's easy and you don't have to recreate those links every semester. But you can do it by going to the Cengage Instructor Center, create the course there, and then when you get to your course, you can select link to existing course. It's whatever you prefer, but the copying method is, we think, just a little bit easier.
I think I prefer when people do it here because it's just the one step instead of the two steps. Unless you're wanting to create your Mindtap course before your Blackboard shell is even open, which is great too, getting ahead of the game. If you wanted to go ahead and get your summer and fall sections up and rolling.
April, and I see you added an additional question there. If you're starting fresh in Ultra, it does not matter which you would like to do. So if you would like to start at the Cengage side and then select link to course, you could do that. Or if you'd like to go ahead and just add the links in here, and then either way, you're going to be selecting either link to course or create an existing course or copying a course. So it's just really a matter of which one you would have to select from here. Natalie or I would be happy to meet with you the first time, or when you set up your course. If you want, just shoot us an email and we'll be happy to help. Yeah. Can we send the instructions or in a PDF or Word format? We definitely have a video that we can share. I don't know if we have them in PDF or Word, but we can. If not, Natalie, is that something that we could write down and share with the group? The Ultra instructions?
Yeah, we can send that. And actually that brings up a good point. Something that I meant to show everyone is the KCTCS course page, where you would send your students should they have any registration questions at the beginning of the semester. And something I wanted to point out for those of you that do have, you know, March start courses, we're offering student office hours 9 to 12 on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of that March 15th week, to make sure that, you know, we're available to students when they have registration questions. And yeah, we can get course creation instructions for everybody. I guess in that follow-up, I'll be sure to send you all this course page as well.
We have a question from Slayden.
Yeah, Sharmita, go ahead.
Right.
You can ask your question.
I have set up the course, and what is happening is I'm trying to move some exams into Blackboard. And you know how you set it up in, you know, in Cengage, and then you can import it to Blackboard, and you have to go up to File and do Export to Blackboard 7.1. That feature is not showing up anymore. So do I have to do it in a different way? It has Angel 7.1, but it is not showing Blackboard 7.1. So actually, if I could at some time maybe do it one-to-one and share my screen with you, maybe, perhaps.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, I think I know what you're talking about. Are
Okay.
you in
Yeah, I think
Cognero
she's
or?
talking about Cognero.
Yes,
Yes,
incognito,
Natalie.
right. Yes.
Yeah. Um, Ashley, are those test bank files technically all the same file, just named differently?
No, they're not.
They're different? Okay.
Yes. And she's talking
Okay.
about directly from Cognero. So she's not talking about like right from here. She created a test in Cognero,
Yes.
not,
Okay.
yeah, not taking it from here, not from, she needs to go
Not from
from the
this test bank.
Cognero test bank.
Okay, so maybe Ashley, I'll just do one-to-one with you at some point. Will that work?
Yeah, I am actually leaving right after this meeting, and I'm going to Boston for meetings the next 3 days.
Okay.
So if you want to email me, we can either set something up, or Natalie or one of my other colleagues can help you. But go ahead and email
Okay.
me, and
Okay.
we'll get something set up for you.
Thank you
I
so
have I have lots of availability tomorrow
Okay.
if you want to
Okay.
get together.
Okay,
Yeah.
Natalie, I will then email you too, and we will work on it. Thank you so much for your help.
You're welcome. Okay, let's see. Do we still have to deal with license expiration issues? Yes, so the site license are set up. That's not something that we can that we open for a long period of time. It's typically for the year. The way that we've done it the last semester is we have the anything that was deployed in the spring is also deployed in the fall. So you should not have near the issues that we've had in the past, because we do have a different process down. But feel free to reach out to your account executive when you're setting up your course, just to confirm that the expiration date has not expired. But typically those are expiring at the end of the year. So in December is when they should expire this time, instead of semester to semester. Liz Boyd, I'd appreciate the link from this testing. So are you talking about the video recording, Liz?
Or the Cognero.
You'll definitely get access to the video recording, and we'll make sure that we get a follow-up with the Ultra information to you guys. And if there's something else you need, Liz, just email me and I'll make sure. All right, I see you. I'll get it to you.
I was just to that point about the content expiring, making sure you're choosing this license type too. And then we run reports to make sure things aren't expired as best we can. But as you all know, this shared server does have a lot on it.
We will continue to, oh, look at this. Leah Simpson, congratulations, April Moore. You've won a surprise. You did not know there would be gifts. Please email Leah. That's awesome. Congrats, April, and thanks for doing that, Leah. We appreciate that.
Yeah, 100%.
Very nice. Natalie showed that KCTCS course page. We do want to let you know the support that we offer you and your students. We typically host sessions for students for office hours for the first several weeks into months. So you can see we have had office hours since the beginning of January. We are offering additional student office hours over the next bi-term period. So we do have sessions March 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th. And these are student office hours where you can send students to, if they have any issues logging in, if they have questions about any Cengage product. We will have either someone from our leadership team or a student ambassador on there that will be able to help students. And if you ever need additional help or additional hours, you just let us know, and someone from our team would be happy to help your students. So this course page is great. It does have the student registration video on it. It does have the student office hours, as well as some information about our mobile app. So make sure that you do share this with your students at the beginning of the semester. I miss seeing you all too, especially. I see that, Liz, and I'm sure I'll make sure to get your mom some candy here soon. So hopefully I'll see you this semester. But thank you guys so much for joining. Please don't hesitate to reach out. If you don't have Natalie's email and you need anything, please reach out to me and one of us will be sure to get back to you as soon as possible. I hope you all have a great day and stay dry if you're in a place where it's raining real hard. It's raining real hard here in Louisville today. So
Thank you very much. We appreciate your time. It was a great session.
thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Bye.